Big Ten Today continues live from Houston, a special 2-hour edition of the show today, getting ready for the national championship game. Michigan looking for the 12th title in school history. And what a year it has been for the Maize and Blue. Already a school record 14 wins and counting, have outscored their opponents by nearly 26 points per game, have the top defense in the nation. They've trailed for less than 42 minutes all year, including less than 13 minutes in the second half. It is time for our big interview. It is the athletic director at the University of Michigan, Warde Manuel, who is with us. And Warde, I'm going to ask you first, take off the athletic director hat. You played at Michigan. This program means so much to you. From the point of view of a former player, of someone who is so invested in success in this program, what does this day mean to you?
It means the world to me, because it means the world to Jim, our staff, and especially our student athletes. I've been, like you said, in that uniform, playing games, and I know how much it means to them, and I know how much work they put in it. And certainly we all have put in a lot of work in what it means for the university and our alums and those who love Michigan. But this is just an extraordinary accomplishment. And to have the opportunity to play in the championship game for a national title is what they work for, what they've driven themselves to do, and it's just so proud. I'm so happy for the team and for everybody at Michigan.
And this team's navigated a lot of challenges this year, as we know, both off and on the field. Does that make it that much sweeter? Like, how does the fact of knowing, being on the inside and knowing everything that everyone's been through, how does that change the perception?
It does make it sweeter. I mean, look, I said last night at our donor event, when you look up perseverance in the dictionary, you're going to see a picture of this team and what they've gone through. And I'm so proud of that. So it does make it, for me as an athletic director, sweeter in a sense, because they did not only did they have to play and compete on the field of play, they had to listen to all the noise and everything that was going on, deal with issues that were there in front of them, in front of us. And I'm just so proud of how they handled it, compartmentalized it, led Jim, the staff, and especially student athletes and some of the leaders that you guys have talked about for the last few days, last few weeks, last few months, in the way they step up. And that's what I told them.
I was just a few feet away from you at the Rose Bowl after the clinching play, and your emotion, I mean, it burst forth. It was really cool to watch.
Yeah.
Tell me what you were thinking in that moment.
I wanted it for this team. I wanted it for this group, for the guys who came back, for the people who persevered, for somebody like Blake who had to, towards the end of the year, had an injury last year, to come back, to focus, to do all the things that they do. And I remember JJ seeing him watch last year in Scottsdale, the confetti come down on the other team.
Yeah.
And you just know how much a group of kids work, and you're around them so much, Jim and the staff and what he's done, and you just want it for them. I mean, I want it for myself too, but I want it for them more, right? I mean, I want it for all of us at Michigan, but I wanted it for them more. They deserve to have that success after 2 years of knocking on the door.
I mentioned you played at Michigan, you're a defensive lineman. The defense has been the greatest strength of this team this year. Take off the administrator hat and become an analyst for me. What makes this defense so good?
You know what? Great up the middle in terms of the D-line and what they do, which allows our defensive ends and our linebackers to flow. The corners and the safeties are just, they stick to people. They really connect well with each other. But I have to say, as a former D lineman, I love what our interior D line does. Yeah. I mean, they really have held the line and really stabilized, and that allows the rest of the defense to flow, which is a beautiful thing to see.
It was such a fitting ending. We were talking about that last play at the Rose Bowl, and for it to be that defensive line push that stopped Jalen Milroe, I think it speaks volumes. I want to take you back a few years. Like, let's go back to the 2020 season, which obviously was a really rough year. I mean, 2-4. There was a ton of noise externally about Jim Harbaugh's future. You cut a new deal with him to keep him in Ann Arbor. Like, when you think back to that off season and think about where you are now, like, what at that moment made you think that this was still the right path?
It was COVID. We were all dealing with all kind of things during COVID. Opt-outs, injuries, testing, people being out because they test positive, the unknowing if a season would occur or not occur. And so Jim was no different in his ability to coach that team that year than he was before and as he is now. Now, he grows. He's done an exceptional job. But I wasn't going to get rid of Jim Harbaugh during COVID because we were 2-4 with everything going on around us. It wasn't the right thing to do. Jim's a great person, great coach. That didn't change. What changed is the circumstances of COVID. We played, 6 games that year?
Right, yeah.
We didn't have enough players to play a couple of games. Somebody else didn't have enough players. I mean, where does it get to people not understanding the circumstances surrounding that year?
Right.
Didn't change Jim as a coach, but changed the way you managed that season. So I loved him then. I love him now. He's had tremendous success. And I'm proud of him.
How validating has it been?
Very. It is very validating for me. Not about the naysayers and the people who didn't believe what I believed, but it's validating because I believed in Jim as a coach and his ability to produce what we have had in the past 3 years. And even before COVID, we had great success. We just didn't beat one team, right? But now to see what he's accomplished over the last 3 years and to be here just makes me, it validates it, but it makes me even more proud of him as a coach and a person.
I think there's so many cool components to this story, Ward, and one of them is that Jim played here and that you played here, right? I just think when you're connected to a program in that way, when it's in your blood, it is different, and you guys both played for the same guy. You played for Bo Schembechler, who's an absolute legend. How does he still affect you today, and how do you think he still affects Jim today, and some of the lessons that you learned from Bo that still apply throughout this program and that permeate Michigan football. And will forever?
Yeah, it does. I smile because I hear him,
What would he say?
Every day. He would say he's proud, very proud. And Jim and I have talked about that over the years because we know how he led, what he instilled in us, and we know he would be proud of us, both Jim and me, and that drives us. And I tell you, other people have said that to both Jim and I, who also played for Bo, who coached for Bo. Bo would be very proud of you. Bo would be very proud of you too. And that is really all I think we both need. And it's probably the biggest compliment besides our parents that we can get.
I can see you getting a little emotional here.
Yeah.
Like what are you thinking about with Bo?
So my mom and dad and Bo were probably the biggest inspirations in my life to bring me to where I am today. And he taught us how to fight and to work hard and to do the right things. And that the better you are at that, the more you give that sort of attention and passion to something, the better off you're going to be as a football player and the better off you're going to be in life. And so in my office at home, I have a picture of my mom, I have a picture of my dad, and I have a painting of Bo. And for me, those are my inspirations, as well as all these other young people that I deal with, not only in football, but across all 29 sports that we have, our coaches. But that's what drives me, is that what I learned from my mom and dad. And not only for 4 years for me, I had the good fortune of coming back as administrator after Bo retired from the Tigers, and I got a chance to be around him for 7 or 8 years. So I picked up even more nuggets from him along the way. So he means the world to me, and he means the world to Jim. And then you have Jack, who coached for Bo and tells stories. Big John Falk, he tells stories. We get a chance to talk about all these things, and so Bo will always be a part of me, always be a part of Jim, and always help to drive the success of Michigan.
Said in the Bo voice.
That's right. Try.
What's this going to be like for you tonight watching this game? Like, where do you watch? And what's when you're watching a game? Because look, in AD, there's a lot of responsibilities that goes with it, right? You're talking to donors while the game's going on, and you're thinking about a million different things. How do you watch the game?
So I'll be on the field 45 minutes before and then when the team goes up, I go up to the box and spend time with people. I watch the game. I'm not talking when plays are going on. I'll tell people, hold up, let me watch the play, and then we'll go to the next thing. In between quarters, I'll spend time with people, just probably stop in a couple of boxes and those kind of things.
Yes.
And then in the fourth quarter, I come down and I stand on the sideline, which is where you saw me in the Rose Bowl. And I do that, and I've done that all my career, and I've done it that way. And so I enjoy, everybody who knows me knows by now, not to bother me when the football game is actually a play is going on. In between plays, I'll talk.
Right. The stop and start nature of the game allows you to communicate
There's a lot of
bit.
downtime,
Ward, I do need to ask you real quick, future of Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Give us a sense of where things stand.
He knows that I want him to be here at the University of Michigan. He understands that we're working through it with him and his representative, but that's on hold for today.
Right.
It's on hold for today because we need to concentrate and we need to focus. We all need to focus on the here and now, and Jim has said that, and at the appropriate time we'll continue the conversation. But he knows how I feel. We've been working on it, and we'll see where it goes. He knows I want him here. I said years ago I want him to retire at Michigan, and hopefully we'll see if that is true or not. But let me just say this. Regardless of the outcome, I appreciate Jim Harbaugh and what he has done for the last 9 years. I hope he stays. But I don't want anybody to be mad if he makes a decision to take another opportunity because that's what he wants to do. Feel blessed that he was here. I hope he stays. There's no indication of where it's going. We're having great conversations with him and his lawyers. But I just want people to stop focusing on that for a minute. Concentrate on this game. Concentrate on where this team has come. Cheer loud for Michigan. Cheer loud for this team, and allow that to be the focus of today and the outcome of this game.
Well said. Got to be in the moment, and this moment is pretty good.
Yes, sir, it is.
For the Maize and Blue. Ward Manuel, really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Francois.
Thanks so much.